What's up, y'all? Welcome into NBA Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jerami Grant, and today I'm breaking down the biggest winners and losers of free agency up to this point. So we're not talking about the draft. I'm trying to avoid talking about trades a little bit too much, but free agency, the biggest winners and losers. We'll start off with the biggest winner of them all, the Los Angeles Lakers. And you guys already knew they were going to be on this list. I mean, it's just so freaking obvious when you add a Wes Matthews for $3 million to replace Danny Green, who's getting paid $15. When you add Montrezl Harrell for the mid-level exception. When you sign Marc Gasol for the veterans minimum. And then you bring back two key pieces in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Markieff Morris. Now, they did lose quite a few players like Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo, Avery Bradley, JaVale McGee. Those are all quality guys. Don't forget Danny Green as well. All quality players. But you managed to get guys like Schroder and Matthews and Harrell and Gasol and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope back, all without having to give up a guy that everyone thought they were going to have to trade in Kyle Kuzma. And now you look at the four newest players on this team. I mean, that's two of the top 3 6-men of the year in Dennis Schroder and Montrezl Harrell. It's a starting caliber center in Marc Gasol. And it's a starting caliber shooting guard in Wesley Matthews. Now, you look at some of their key free agency losses in guys like Rajon Rondo, Avery Bradley, JaVale McGee, and Dwight Howard. Look, they're all pretty important players, as McGee obviously got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Dwight Howard signed with the Philadelphia 76ers. Bradley goes to Miami, and Rajon Rondo to the Atlanta Hawks. But they more than made up for it. In fact, they got twice as good. Maybe not twice. Maybe that's a stretch. But they got a lot better than they once were. So let me ask you this question. Are the Lakers bound to repeat in 2021? Type Y for yes or type you're in for no. I think I'm going to see a lot of Ys in the comment section on this one because this team, like I said, they only got better and they just won the NBA championship. So let me see what you got. Will the Lakers win the title in 2021? Another free agency winner, the Atlanta Hawks, as they made a flurry of moves. They signed Danilo Gallinari. Did they overpay for him? Yes, absolutely. But does it matter when you have all the cap space in the world? No, it doesn't. And he deserved to get paid, and now he gets paid to be really a starting caliber forward on this Hawks team. They also went out and signed Bogdan Bogdanovic to an offer sheet. So the Kings technically at this point can still match. They had 48 hours from the time he signed that offer sheet, but it doesn't look like they're going to quite yet. So when you get two starting caliber players and then also a great draft as well, and then you add Rajon Rondo, Chris Dunn, and Solomon Hill as awesome veterans off the bench, and the only guy you've lost so far is Damian Jones, this team got a lot better. Now, they also did technically lose Dwayne Dedmon, and I like Dwayne Dedmon, but he's not a game changer for this team, especially when they already have Onyeka Okongwu. They just drafted him. The Hawks have knocked it out of the park. I have loved what they've done. They have Trae Young, Bogdanovic in the backcourt, Danilo Gallinari as a potential forward, Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter, Clint Capella, John Collins. That's a full team of really solid guys. I give their free agency an A+ and 2 thumbs up. Now, one of the sneakier teams so far in free agency has been the Portland Trail Blazers, and I am deeming them a winner as well. They went out and signed Derrick Jones Jr. and also re-signed Rodney Hood, and I think both those moves were pretty important for this team. They also brought in Harry Giles on a minimum deal, and Harry Giles is a guy that has suffered a lot of injuries in his career, but now he gets to go to a team like the Trailblazers where he can take his time and not forced to play right away with guys like Zach Collins in the front court, Enes Kanter in the front court, and even Jusuf Nurkic up there as well. Now, I told you that I didn't want to talk about trades too much, but the two trades they did make, I think, have exponentially forwarded this team in Robert Covington as one of the best defenders in the league, and Enes Kanter. This is a team that I like what they have done. They have done some really solid stuff, and their starting five has been revamped with Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum in the backcourt, and now you immediately slide Robert Covington into that starting three, and if everyone is healthy with Jusuf Nurkic and Zach Collins, this team is right back in the top 5 of the Western Conference, not to mention a revamped bench of Harry Giles, Rodney Hood, and what they've done in the draft as well. I like this team, and I think they have a really high ceiling in the Western Conference. Now, the reason I ask you this question now is because I think the Robert Covington move was one of the most underrated moves of the offseason. I love that trade. But what do you think has been the most underrated move so far? Let me know in the comment section what you got. Maybe it's a trade, maybe it's one of the draft picks, or maybe it's something in free agency. Give me your most underrated move of the offseason so far. Another winner is one that I think a lot of people are talking about right now in the Phoenix Suns. Man, they have just done everything right. And again, I know I didn't want to talk too much about trades with Chris Paul, but you kind of have to with the Suns because they traded for CP3 and Abdel Nader, who's a guy that can shoot but probably won't play that many pivotal minutes for them. And then they go out and sign Jae Crowder for $30 million for $30 million over the next 3 years. They add Etuan Moore. They sign Damian Jones. They re-sign Javon Carter and Dario Saric, all pivotal players on this Suns team. Now, their starting lineup is going to look 100 different ways. I think they could go with a ton of different versions of this with guys like Chris Paul and Devin Booker definitely in the backcourt. Maybe you start Cam Johnson. Maybe you start Jae Crowder. You definitely start DeAndre Ayton. Maybe you even start Jalen Smith as your power forward. And also, Mikal Bridges out on the wings. I love everything that Phoenix has done outside of the draft. And that's why they're a winner for me, because they made up for their draft pick with something in free agency. Now, I don't hate the player that is Jalen Smith, but the fact that you could have had Devin Vassell outside of that or instead of that, I think I would have much rather gone with him. But let me ask you this question. What seed are the Suns going to end up landing in the Western Conference? Are they going to be in the playoffs? Are they going to just miss the playoffs? I think they grab the 8th seed this year. I don't think they're a top 5 team in the West. I think some people have overreacted to what they've done. You got to remember, they've also lost a lot of good players. Ricky Rubio, Kelly Oubre as well. Aaron Baines is another guy they lost. Those are important pieces for them, and they lost them. But they obviously replaced them with much better players. And if you need to replace a jersey because your favorite player has been on the move, you go to chatsports.com/NBA jerseys, and you can get yours today, whether it's the Brooklyn Nets, the Dallas Mavericks, the Phoenix Suns, the Portland Trailblazers, whatever team you want to rep, they have those jerseys available today at chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. Also, all the newest styles are available today. I'm picking mine up to get a gift for somebody because they're 25% off. It is a super easy deal and one that needs to be made. So go rep your favorite team or rep your favorite player by checking them out at chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. Now let's talk about one of the biggest losers of the offseason so far, and the Detroit Pistons. What are they doing, man? They signed Mason Plumlee. They signed Jahlil Okafor. They let Christian Wood walk. They traded away Bruce Brown and got John Musa. I don't know what the heck Detroit has decided to do this offseason by signing all these big men and going out and basically trading away some younger players. They also traded away Luke Kennard. And I don't understand why they traded Kennard and didn't get anything valuable back. Now, they had a great draft, don't get me wrong, but we're not talking about the draft today. We're talking about free agency. And they have butchered this free agency. Now, I like the signing of Jerami Grant because at that point, you just kind of go for it. But when you're paying him as much as they are, it's definitely an overpay and not one that I would have done. So I am giving the Detroit Pistons a big thumbs down as a giant loser this offseason. But what team do you think has been the biggest loser? Maybe it's the Pistons. Maybe it's somebody else. Let me know in the comment section. I think the Pistons got to be right up there, but there's a lot of other teams. We're going to get into 3 more on today's video of my 3 biggest losers this offseason, followed by the Charlotte Hornets. Now, the Hornets haven't done a lot. They did well in the draft. I love the pick of LaMelo Ball. I love that they got Vernon Carey Jr. and Nick Richards out of Kentucky. But giving Gordon Hayward 4 years, $120 million, when the guy basically just snapped his leg in half. What are you doing? Why are you paying him that much? I didn't understand that deal. I get it. You're kind of going for it because you have LaMelo Ball in there, but it didn't make a lot of sense to me. They also let Dwayne Bacon walk away, and Dwayne Bacon's kind of a younger player that I guess was fine. They cut Nicholas Batum, and that's fine. But, man, Charlotte just hasn't done anything right. And when you go out and pay a guy in Gordon Hayward that hasn't really proven himself, you're basically giving up all this cap space or really all this young potential. Because the biggest problem I have with paying Gordon Hayward means now you have to play him over young wings like Malik Monk or Miles Bridges that were going to develop alongside LaMelo Ball. And now your lineup looks something like LaMelo Ball, Devontae Graham, Gordon Hayward, P.J. Washington, and Bismack Biyombo, instead of having Miles Bridges in that starting 5 to really develop alongside those guys. So I am calling the Charlotte Hornets one of my biggest losers this offseason simply for overpaying a guy in Gordon Hayward that, he kind of just takes money away and takes time away from the younger players. Now, I guess you could put Cody Zeller back in there. We'll see what happens with him in the middle. But this team is probably fighting for a 9th seed. Maybe they sneak into the 8th, but sorry, Hornets fans. I know you're excited about LaMelo, but unfortunately, they're just kind of dashed away by signing Gordon Hayward to that much money. So the Charlotte Hornets are my second biggest loser this offseason, right behind the Detroit Pistons. But another team that I don't think enough people are talking about is the Denver Nuggets. And it's not that they've done a lot wrong. They just haven't done anything right. And when they were a team that was in the Western Conference Finals, you're supposed to be revamping your team to make another push. They're not doing that. Now, Campazzo was a good signing, but he's coming over from Real Madrid. You don't know what he's going to give you. He's 5'11". You lose Torrey Craig. You actually just let Torrey Craig walk. You lose Jerami Grant, who played excellent defense on LeBron James. And you replace Jerami Grant with JaMychal Green, who's not a very good defender. Now, re-signing Paul Millsap, I think, was a very good move. I give that a thumbs up. That's fine. But just the fact that the Nuggets don't look aggressive in free agency, I don't get it. I'm out on what they have done so far, and I'm out on the fact that you let Jerami Grant walk away. Now, they did offer him the same deal. They offered him $60 million, the same thing that the Pistons offered, and Grant just said, no, I'm going to leave. I want a bigger role. So that's fine. It's not their fault, but guess what? They're still a loser in my eyes. Now, I'm breaking down the losers, but I want to know what you guys think is the most surprising move so far of the offseason. Maybe it was Montrezl to the Lakers. I think that's mine. Maybe it was Jerami Grant to the Denver Nuggets, Jerami Grant to the Detroit Pistons from the Denver Nuggets. But let me know in the comment section what you think is the most surprising move of the offseason, because every move that has happened so far, we have had very well documented, and we have really broken down in depth here on Chat Sports. So you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications on for everything and all things NBA. Let's go to one more free agency loser. For me, it's the Sacramento Kings. I love what they did in the draft. I thought they had a real home run out of this park draft. And then free agency rolls around, and they're basically just letting Harry Giles walk, who is a young kind of prospect for them, and they're letting Bogdanovich sign this offer sheet. Now, no word on whether or not they're going to match that, but I have a feeling they're not going to, and that just kind of leaves them guessing. They haven't really addressed any needs. They haven't gone out and really pursued anybody aggressively whatsoever. I don't like what the Kings have done. I like that they signed De'Aaron Fox to a max extension, but it's just not enough. You continue to be mediocre, and that's all Sacramento is. I get it. You want to develop your young guys, and that's better than overpaying for somebody, but Sacramento so far, just not a great offseason. Thumbs down for me. Now, let me ask you this. What is the favorite move that your team has made? Maybe they were a winner, or maybe they were one giant loser. But give me your favorite move so far this offseason. It's a bit of a two-parter. You got to tell me the move that they made, and then tell me who your team is. Go ahead and shout it out in the comment section. The favorite move your favorite team has made this offseason.